Howdy folks, Zethios here, and welcome back to Tyranny. Where last we left off, we had a bunch of different things to decide what we were going to do. We have go and find Phoebe, and Wagstaff wants us to kill her. But we can decide whether or not that's what we do. Then we have Jaspos, who is looking for his tools. And there's a forge-bound Cassandra, who apparently has them in South Haven. We have Lantry, who wants to speak to Mel from Extra Lexington, so we gotta bring him back to the Bastard's Wound for Mel, so we'll probably do that after we do both or one of those things. We still have to go to Cacophony to talk with the Voice of Narant, which I'm dreading doing. We have not Vexes, what am I talking about Vex? Because it's all Apex there. Versus next, Revenge target, Arissa. And then, of course, we have all our things. We have all the evidence that we're getting against both Archons and claiming spires for our own. So I think the next thing that's like the most plausible thing and kind of easiest to do and things that we like actually would want to do is to look for Cassandra in South Haven. Another thing we did while between episodes is we looked at spell creation, and Lantry has the same stuff. We haven't changed any of Lantry's stuff yet. I did fill out Ebb as much as I could. So she has a bunch of different types of lightning spells. And then Siren, we gave her a lightning spell, fire spell, a frost spell, and a demoralizing spell. So like gets rid of their movement speed and, removes makes them fatigued and dazed, and it's a cone effect spell. So different variations of stuff that I was looking at while going through this stuff. There's the sigil of emotions, and then I was like expressions. So let's go like influential domain, and then I was like, all right, let's extend the range, let's extend the duration, let's give it a bleeding effect, and let's reduce the cooldown. And then I'm like, okay, why can't I make this spell? And it's like, oh yeah, because spells actually cost something. Like, you actually have to have enough skill to use them, so you can't just like add everything up. And so we did this to the best of our abilities, so you get mostly like 60, 70 lore stuff. Lantry, we can probably like boost his up a little bit, but I wanted to outfit. It took me long enough to do Ebb and Siren, so I wanted to take care of that first. Alright, South Haven was the place that we needed to go to. We got lots of different places that we can go to. We have Phlogiston, that's where the Tidecaster is, I believe. And then we have South Haven. So let's go to South Haven. Did we have anything that we can encounter along the way? I can't even get that out of my brain before we encounter something. A man stands on the side of the road ahead. He flies no heraldry and makes no move to acknowledge you. He wears no armor, and if he's armed, his weapon isn't visible. Yeah, let's approach him. The man doesn't move at all until you've almost reached him. Only then does his gaze turn toward you. His vacant eyes slow to focus on your approach. Ah. He draws up the vowel. His lungs can no longer sustain it. Custom. Custom? Who are you? He frowns as he lapses into silence. Then after a moment, Karolek. I am Karolek, purveyor of fine exotic goods. That which you don't know you need, I have. All for prices. Unreasonable. He blinks rapidly. Unreasonably good, that is. Exotic. Yes, exotic. Meaning? Water. Water? Old water. He shudders and his eyes focus. His next words tumble out. Bane Essence 2. Not much to look at aside from the glowing, but quite the supplement in the bedroom. Okay. Ancient gems, stones that predate the use attention waivers. Predates. Direct execute for the crime of Old World's trespass. Are you sleepless? Sleepless, his forehead wrinkles. I sleep less. He nods sharply. Than I used to, I mean. A busy life, the road, constant travel, incessant danger, especially in times like, he frowns. Times. You need to go back to the... Oh, that's right, sleepless. That's right, there's like a little curse in Bastard's Wound where, people don't, can't sleep, and they go mad. And so, yeah, he definitely doesn't need to be out here. You need to go back to the wound. I will. Just need to sell first. Alright, well, let's see what you got. Wise choice, he nods, head bobbing bird-like. Wise choice. Hello, you got a nice hood. Summon of pig. Compare. Or Striker's cowl. Does balancing act, accuracy +2, deflection. The 1% deflection, more +2, more accuracy. And it summons a pig. Why does it summon a pig? There's old water. A scroll of sigil of piercing force, sigil of killing blows. Do we sell him anything? It looks like he only accepts stuff. He doesn't take stuff from us. That kind of sucks. We have only 2 iron. 97 bronze. Crazy Karolek. Are we gonna see this guy again? I hope we do. There's stuff that I would like to buy. Does this like let us know if we already know it? I guess not. It should say something like, you already know this spell. Alright, we only want 1. Of course. What does that do for us? 227 and 1. Alright, Lantry. And then we have the 40 hood. We have all these supplies that are useful. I don't know if we can afford it all. We're gonna be super poor. Alright, we bought that. So we have 1 iron ring, 22 bronze, and 1 copper left. Alright, so do we grab this hood for the beams of it? I just want to see what like the pig does. Alright. Get away from these wind effects. It's blowing in my head right now. Alright, here we go. Alright, we're up top here. Alright, let's have a look. Alright, learn. Piercing strength 3. And then killing blows. Just an accent of a spell. Okay. Alright, let's have a look. I guess swore like the balancing act. Or maybe it was something else that gave us accuracy, ranged accuracy. That's the boots. Okay. I confused the boots and cowl. So more deflection, more accuracy, plus this thing. And the balancing act, 10% damage is really, really good. But I want to see what happens with the pig. How do I do it? How do I do it? Lord +1 for putting that on. Alright, there's Pig. Not in combat. Summon one of Pig. Beware the witch's piglet. Interesting. I hardly ever use concealing shadows. Put that on the bar. Alright. What does this do? Particular about Jasper's tools. That lets us get... Okay, it's a piercing string. We haven't had one of those before, and we have tons of accents now. Fatebinder, hello. Welcome to South Haven. Alright, a middle-aged man nods to you, clutching a small apple crate in one arm. A well-worn scrap of parchment pokes out of his bald fist. Charcoal tally marks visible on its exposed surface. Well met, traveler. Sorry, I was counting these out of for Hermod and didn't see you coming. Welcome to South Haven. You're the Fatebinder, aren't you? Yeah, the Fatebinder, not just a Fatebinder. The Fatebinder. The one that claimed the mountain spire. It's not every day we have such an esteemed visitor. He awkwardly bows. Several apples fall out of his crate and bounce out of his hands, rolling past your feet. Sorry. Sets the container down. Is there something I can do for you? Yeah, we can just say we're not familiar with it. Just tell us a little bit about it. Not sure what's really all that worthy of note. Scratches his chin, inadvertently smudging it with charcoal. We got the river and the sea nearby, and live by what they bring us in the good reasons, in the good seasons, on the good seasons. Woof. Reading. Trade for what we don't have when our luck dries up. You're bored already? Good. I think Kairos' forces were bored too and seemed to ignore us. Some recruiters from the chorus came in years past and rounded up some folks who were out in the fields. I think they took Ptolid's boy and also the Cobra twins. That was the worst of it. I've heard plenty of stories from elsewhere in the tiers. 3 folks gone, while a tragedy. Nothing compared to the suffering seen elsewhere. We are fortunate, no denying that. Alright, well, that's all for now. Not really too curious about anything else. Like you said, it's a boring town. Or is it? They're hiding something, aren't they? Something big. A healing potion and a dagger. Erasmus? Icene? I feel like we've seen those two names before. Alright, what have we here? I think now everything's going to Lantry. Put it in the stash. Lantry, no one... Stop taking a bunch of random crap. Oh, uh-oh. Hills and Shadow got stuck there a little bit. Nicodemus. There's an interesting name. And we have upstairs. Alright, let's talk to a few more locals. See if we've talked to these people before, because High Scene sounds familiar for some reason. You see a tall figure with a patchwork sash of animal pelts slung across her shoulder. The skin on her sunburnt face melts with a pair of naturally flushed freckled cheeks. She speaks energetically to 2 nearby villagers, animated in her depiction of a recent hunt. And to crawl real low through the brush. Those critters have eyes like eagles, but are too deaf to hear their own farts. I got close enough to see its nose wiggling in the air. They can actually feel you coming that way, you know. But it was too late. One swift thrust later, it turned into dinner. She hears you approaching and spins around, spear held out playfully. Aha! Who goes there? Her laugh is hearty, but ends abruptly as she takes note of your appearance. Apologies, Fatebinder. I had no idea you were visiting us. Forgive the jest. I've been burdened with an overabundance of energy since childhood. One way or another it comes out. She offers a purposefully awkward curtsy. What can I do for you? I guess tell me about the Forge Bound. Fine folk, as far as I'm concerned. Everyone around here is better off with them. Cassandra and her students help keep me supplied with fresh spear tips and arrowheads, so my life's never been easier. They spend most of their time in training, though. I think that's the real reason they're here, to pass on secrets from master to pupil in a safe place. Cassandra's a hard ass, more ways than one, but her students are better off for it. They certainly make short work of any of our requests. Nails, hooks, blades, whatever you can think of. Only old Lycus didn't take too kindly to their presence, but that's because she's a half He's a half-rate smith whose blades are as limp as he is in the sack. Oh. Burn. Anyway, I like him. I'm not too wild about the curfew they demanded, but Cassandra insists that it's for our safety. I haven't seen any Brotherhood or bandits while out on my hunts, so it's not like we're less safe because of it. The toothy grin. Icene offers a friendly wink as you approach. Fine day out, Fate Finder. Anything you need? Alright, what do you think of Cassandra? Ha, she's a tough nut to crack. She's been pounding steel for so long that she's forgotten how to hang up the hammer and enjoy other pursuits. I first got to know her after we got talking about hunting implements. I think she saw something in my enthusiasm for it. And we've steadily become pals. She's a much different person after she unwinds. Not that there's anything wrong with having a tough exterior. She's a master of napping, after all. You gotta maintain appearances. To the Grand Hyacinth offers a friendly wink as you approach. Fine day out, Fate Finder. Anything you need? Sandra's grave light tools seem unique. Any chance you'd part with them? Doubt it. All she ever goes on about is chisels, moils, flats, tampers. Who knew? Who knew there was so much to know about wedges and handles? Wedges with handles. If you need tools, ask her. I bet she'll make them for you just to show off what she can do. But her tools, seriously, those are probably the only things in this world she genuinely loves. Alright, she's saying the same thing every time we go back there. Alright. So it might be tough to get her to part with tools. Erasmus, the young man squints at the bottles in front of him. He picks them up, shakes them, and sets them down, dissatisfied after every examination. Was it fennel pollen or rhubarb root? He catches sight of you and stops his search. Hello, traveler. Something I can do for you? I got questions about people in town. Glances at the merchant stall and shakes his head. I'm sorry, I don't have the time. My wife's ill and I need to get something for her. Wouldn't be right to blather on with strangers while she tosses in bed. Alright, what are you looking for then? Wife took fever recently, burning temples with an awful rash. She's a tough one, but I wanted to get her some medicine. I know that boiled silverthorn works well, but that's a few rings too many for me. There must be an alternative. Alright, so we can give him rings. Yeah, we can tell him elder bark. Elder bark is what you want, almost as potent as silverthorn, but a lot more plentiful. You can probably buy it for a song. Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. I'm quite worried about my wife, and these herbs will really help. Is there anything I can help you with? There's things I can do. Alright, now we can ask him about that stuff. Of course, thanks to you, I can spare a moment before getting these herbs back to my wife. What would you like to know? Cassandra. No issues with her. Never really spoken to her. You can hear barking orders of her apprentices at all hours of the day. Never felt comfortable interrupting their sessions, though I know some folks like Capteron help them out from time to time. Perhaps you should ask him. Alright, who's Capteron? He's been in South Haven for a long time. Everyone knows him. He's a simple man, but he's as good-hearted as they come. My father grew up with him right here. He's always been kind. Capteron doesn't have a trade to speak of other than helping others. Probably go out to pick herbs for me if I ask him. He likes to stay near the village entrance to direct travelers most of the time. Since he's always assisting folks in the Forge Bound, he's one of the few that are allowed to wander about during evening curfew. Glanced at the Forge Bound workers with a knowing smile. Of course, everyone knows that he's smitten by their leader. He finds every excuse to be close to the Forge Bound, and every excuse to avoid speaking with Cassandra. He's an old man with a child's heart. What do you think of the Forge Bound? No qualms here. I was a bit nervous having them in town at first. You have to understand, we fared better than most during the conquest Kyrus' war raged on elsewhere. None of his armies marched through South Haven. But who knew if the Forge Bound would attract attention from the Archons or Brotherhood raiders? They proved me wrong. Nobody attacked the village after they arrived. When Cassandra isn't training them, the Forge Bound help us out however they can. Can't say I'm a fan of the curfew they enforce with the fair trade for their services. What about the curfew? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why there's a curfew. What are they doing after hours? Cassandra demanded it. I guess the Forgebound dealt with raiders on their journey here and don't ever want to be caught unawares again. It's a hassle, but I'd rather them here. Not like I need to be wandering around in the dark anyway. Aside from a few folks, most of us stay indoors come the evening. Cassandra's apprentices then keep an eye out for intruders. After a full day's work, too. Theirs is not an easy trade. Okay. Alright. Allergies are being a son of a gun. Alright, we got Nicodemus and Cassandra, the master of napping. Which is interesting that they have an evening curfew. You'd think they'd be napping. Alright, let's talk to Nicodemus. You have a cool name. Barrel-chested man surveys the areas with a stern expression, eyeing you nonchalantly as you approach. A large horseshoe mustache traces the top of his mouth before racing down to his chin. When he speaks, he bristles nearly masks his lips. Well met, Fatebinder. Alright. Who are you? Nicodemus, Cassandra's second. I have a few seasons under my belt, unlike these pups in the forge. He gives a sideways glance back toward the work area. I watch over things when Cassandra has better things to do, which is always. What do you need? Why are you here? Ask Cassandra. She gives the orders here. No point in me guessing at her meaning. Alright, what can you tell me about Cassandra? Tough, but fair. Cassandra knows that teaching and napping are both acts of reduction. In the case of teaching, one chips away at ignorance. Some don't like her approach. Such fools are not fit for our guild. Alright, well, you're a man of few words, so I'll see ya. Alright, now it's time to talk to Cassandra. See if she likes what we're going to ask her. Alright, small group of forge-bound stand in conference around an older gray-haired woman. Blue tattooed streaks trail down from her hairline, coming to rest upon a pair of eyebrows permanently fixed in a severe expression. She grasps a hunk of jasper and strikes it several times with a sharp piece of obsidian. The motion should feel rhythmic as you work the stone, as mundane as breath. Her sinewy biceps contract to control the force from each impact, keeping the jasper remarkably still. Listen to your senses. If the shape in your mind doesn't feel inevitable, then you're wasting your strength and my time. Noticing your approach, she halts her demonstration and waves off her apprentices. We'll continue this later. Fatebinder, I am Cassandra, master of napping. The forge-bound present are in my charge. He grants you a perfunctory nod. I know your time is limited, and South Haven too remote for this meeting to be chance. What is it that I can do for you? Yeah, you have hair? I thought forge-bound shaved their heads. He permits a smirk for the briefest of moments. I've shaved my head for nearly every day of my life. I think I've earned a reprieve. She lightly smacks the back of an apprentice's head as he kneels to work. These idiots don't get that luxury. We have these traditions for a reason. If you waded into a forge fire all day, you'd know better than to grow a mop of wicks out of your head. Right. This is the hazard. Okay. Alright, Fatebinder, is there anything else you need? How'd you end up here? Master of napping, it's my duty to build the forges that keep the others occupied. Bronze and iron are the guild's trademark, but stone's the foundation. When Cairo's conquest began, my kin followed the armies into the tiers, and I led the efforts to build up Lathan's crossing. With our task at the crossing complete, there was naught to do after but return home. I barely made the long march south, so I decided to head towards the closest port, just near here, and planned to catch a boat back home, but the journey here was difficult. Brotherhood bandits ambushed us on the road. Her eyes narrow at the memory, and she rubs the left side of her abdomen. They fancied our forge implements and thought them fair payment for use of the road. I refused, and we brained them with our hammers. She cracks her neck with a quick tilt of her head. I cracked a rib or three. Some others of the party were wounded, so resting in South Haven seemed wise. The locals were overly accommodating, and I started wondering if I'd even live through the sea voyage home, so I decided to set up shop and teach here. Our temporary stay became rather permanent. I thought Jaspos was the master of napping. Jaspos? I thought officers of the court would be better informed, Fatebinder. There could only be one master of napping at a time. Ah. Like Highlander. I'm not a corpse yet, despite the wishes of my apprentices, so the title remains with me. What rank does Jaspos hold if he's not a master? Why are we even talking about Jaspos? The only title he's fit to wear is Master of Arrogance. He was a dutiful enough student, but I've heard that the boast he's made to win my apprentices in private. He learned quickly, I'll give him that, but he was a long way off from attaining my kind of mastery. It takes at least a decade of consistently impressive work before a guild would allow for the title of master to be bandied about. If I drop dead tomorrow, there are a dozen others more qualified to inherit my title. She lets out a long sigh, her eyes narrowing as her upper lip twitches. What gave you this notion that Jaspos is the master of napping? Uh, we can lie. The detail came as part of an investigation. Or Jaspos claimed the title for himself. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be too keen on giving up their tools. Looks like we're probably going to have to. I really don't want to have to, like, kill people. In this instance, it's like, it's just tools. I forget if he's like going to use the tools for something proper, like proper protection of the people in Bastard's Wound or whatever, but I don't think we talked about that, or that's not anywhere in our quest log. I don't think we can check it right now. So, we had no reason to lie to her. Motherfucker. She takes a hammer and smashes it against a nearby wall, sending fragments of it flying. The gall of that man. I'd cave his head in as an example, were he here. He strikes the wall again for good measure. I have chisels older than him. He's far, far too young for such a rank. He, of course, had potential. I wouldn't instruct anyone who doesn't, but he seeks approval in people rather than his own craft. Hardly a master's mindset. The guild will act on this. Making a false claim like that is a serious offense. As soon as I can, I'll pen a missive to my superiors. His arrogance will be disciplined. What about his tools? Jaspos tools? What sort of nonsense is this? Yeah, I'm suspecting that the tools are yours. To commemorate my 50 years of the guild, Zendaya made me a tool set of the most exquisite craftsmanship. No, that's just what Jaspos has in mind. After we left Lathan's Crossing, I noticed the set was incomplete. Several key hammers and chisels, and one of my best loops, all missing. At the time, I assumed the fault lay with me. The way to South Haven wasn't without its troubles, and I assumed I misplaced things during the shuffle. I would never have guessed that Jaspos would steal them from me, from his own master. If my knees were still good for sprinting, I'd chase down that ungrateful rake and pulverize his skeleton one bone at a time. Her rage seems to vanish with a shrug and a smile. And I suppose making tools is what I do best. Not like I can't replace what was lost, but those tools were a gift, and not even I can fashion sentimentality out of rock. Not sure how exactly I can help you with this situation. Alright, what makes the tools so special? Zendaya fashioned them as part of a series of works inspired by some pre-war study into the Tidecasters and their ways. She took it upon herself to spend a year working only with the crystals and metals that casters used in their designs. My tools were some of her best pieces that came from that year of experimentation. I try not to make a big deal about having tools inspired by Tiersman magic, but they are the finest I've used. I guess the idea is that some of the moonlight's energy remains trapped in the business ends of the tools. All I know is that with them in hand, I can work faster and with more precision and strength. In truth, I can do just fine with lesser tools. As much as I adore the set Zendaya made for me, nobody can just make a handle to fit my hand quite like I do. She picks up a small hammer and twirls it in her hand. But if Jaspos thinks he can claim the rest of my tools and pretend to greatness, that ungrateful wretch is dead to me. My knees were still good for sprinting? Yeah. Alright. Do we need the tools? I don't think we do. It was just like a thing that he wanted because he's a dick. And we don't take kindly to being fooled, especially by dicks. So, like, she's alright. So we're not gonna, like, kill her or lie to her or say we need those tools. Say the tools are rightfully hers. Thank you, Faintbinder. She visibly relaxes as the several of her apprentices who quickly return to their duties. I'm glad we could clear up this misunderstanding. I'm sorry that one of my own deceived you. As his instructor, I should have spotted the flaw in his scruples. The shame is mine, and he is not cleft from our ranks. That he was not cleft from our ranks sooner. Alright, so I'm gonna go. I gotta return to Jaspos and tell him that he's a little dick. All right. So where should we go? What do we do next? The Phoebe is in that other place, and so we need to grab some people. We can go there, and where Phoebe is. Where is? Where is? At the Torn Strand. Be located at Unbroken in the Torn Strand. Look around Torn Strand. Can't go there yet. Alright. That leaves us with that. We have to go via spires anyway. Let's go to the spire. And since we're going after a Tidecaster, I think we bring Ebb along with us. We shouldn't need... Who do we get rid of? Didn't need Lantry if we got Ebb, so we'll switch out.
What is it you need? Of course. It's about time to stretch the old sea legs.
All right,
I will return to our holdfast at once.
Alright, now let's... Ebb's almost level 9 anyway. That's good. Alright, take me to this Flim sounding area. Oh man, that'd be so much better to go through and read all this stuff, talk through all of it if my allergies were not killing me. Alright, so we got another artifact research done. Alright, there's a lot of new items that we haven't found yet. So yeah, that is our inventory. We gotta sell stuff between episodes too. I don't know if we'll be able to sell anything over here. Looks like this place is abandoned. Matter of fact.
Let's try not to stand out.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Exactly what I was gonna say. Well, not exactly, but it's just, you know, be a little careful. Okay. Just letting us know about that. Oh, that's right, we have power too. I keep forgetting to look at that. So now we're over 1,000 power, which is nice. Needletoe, Contusion, Ragwort, Skinner. We got some Scarlet Chorus up there.
Stop! Look!
I saw Kills in Shadow. Calm down. Alright, we got an accent. Don't have enough lore. This is lore 100. Alright. And then we got some turquoise and a javelin. What's in here? And we got some Scarlet Fury up here too. Alright. So we're gonna go and mess about with these guys next time. So, till next time, this has been Zethios signing out for now. Bye, folks.